prepare for the
Yes.
PowerPoint. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, my friends. I'm Henry Huang, representing BROWAN, and it is definitely my pleasure here to share with you the point of views from the product makers for LoRa products that would definitely play a pivotal part in the ecosystem in propelling the growth of IoT deployment and growth. And of course, thank you for the introduction. We're glad to be here to share with you the products that we have in the booth. And then the point for this speech here is definitely to share with you the views from product makers of why and how we are going to provide our value in helping the industry to move faster. So I think IoT terms, I did some Google check a few years back, and then I still remember it. It was coined back in 1999, where by this gentleman named Kevin Ashton, from idea to a terminology and eventually into real products today. And it has been 2 decades. So what really happens after 2 decades? How are we progressing? How is the IoT actually making its way into our life? So we see a lot of, these are not news. I think for my friends here sitting here are very familiar with the numbers that has been shared in different analysis, in different market research that definitely in total, all this IoT, including the cellular side and the LPWAN side, it accumulates to significant number and substantial annual growth. And then specifically for LPWAN, the numbers today that was forecasted a couple of years ago should be around 100 millions or 150 millions of devices around the world. And then the market size, of course, go up to 195 millions devices connected today as of 2020, if it happens. So what I want to say is we see a lot of growth projections, trend analysis that says IoT is growing significantly, very fast, and coming into our daily life. But yet, I believe, from what we are doing today, we are still behind our target in terms of volume and in terms of the growth rate. We should have been growing faster. So what happened? So why? Why are we not at the projection? Because the projection and the trend is definitely true as we feel today. The dynamic we have been through since the inception of LoRa Alliance. We were here when we joined as the very pioneer members with our corporate headquarters name, Gemtech, and then now we focus BROWAN in 100% in LoRa product. So why did we not delivered or deployed the millions and billions of units of products for IoT into the market? Yes, when we look at the ecosystem, we have devices, we have gateway, we have network servers, we have application servers, partners around the world that is making the IoT possible. Today, as BROWAN representative, I would like to share the view from the hardware side, where we have devices to collect the data, we aggregate it to gateways, and then we send it to the network servers or application server that further produce into different data. So what happens with the hardware side? I guess without the hardware, no matter how good the IoT dream is, it is very difficult for you to collect the data or make a meaningful services to your subscribers or to your network. So we look at what really happens, and we are trying to mitigate the issue. So I think you all who are looking for devices or looking for deploying your services with very good ideas, very good business model, but it ends up the day with very expensive ownership or very high capital investments. Because we found that within the ecosystem, there is still some blanks that needs to fill in. Most of our peers today seems to be having problems or chicken and egg catch-22 issues with the cost and price. So on the floor, in the exhibition floor, we are always discussing how much is your product? Is it viable or is it too expensive? You know, my network cannot survive that with this kind of capital investment into the hardware piece. Or our peers are making all kinds of devices or sensors into one unit that make it punitively expensive to make it a viable service into the market. So we lack destructive cost to see that kind of proliferation. And then second of all, we also see the lack of integration capabilities. There's a lot of new product makers that emphasize a lot on LoRa. What we know as we are a player in this industry, more and more so, we want the products to come with Wi-Fi, Zigbee, Bluetooth for configuration. I hope you have a 3G or 4G for my backhaul. Does it come with a GPS? Can you even have satellite connectivity, which I see my friends on the exhibition floor is now emphasizing. So for each wireless technology, it meant years of accumulation, years of experience accumulation. And we were fortunate enough to come up from an organization, Gemtech, 30 years ago or 20 years ago. We started to build the first 802.11, 2.4 gigahertz product. Eventually, we moved into WiMAX with 3.5 gigahertz product. We also have Bluetooth products. We also produce 3G and 4G, and now we have 5G technology. So within the whole corporation, we actually leverage the technology that is accumulated. So comparing to the existing different players, they all have the limitation to help integrate different wireless technology to make the service viable in the market. And then the third dimension of the issue is the lack of customization capability, meaning I would like my sensor, you know, for as simple as a door sensor. Some customers would like it to look as beautiful as a Ferrari in a home. I have another group of customers that said, I don't care, I just want a black box to serve the purpose. So between these two polars, how are you going to serve them? Do you have the resource for industrial design? Do you have the resource for packaging it? Do you have the experience for the homologation, which is the certification issues that was just mentioned, to help them get the product into the market? And these are all the resources that needs to be addressed to help the IoT faster or proliferate in the market. And then there's I remember to choose a different color next time. It's not difficult for me to even read this on the stage. But the last one, but not least, is the lack of product commercialization capability. So this is the criteria that I mentioned to you in helping my customer bringing a black box into the market, fully certified, fully and abide to the regulatory requirements in their specific industry. Because I have a couple of customers in gas industry or in oil refinery industry that they want to monitor the leakage of the tube, and your device need to be I know it in Chinese though, excuse me. To prevent this device, it has to be in a very low hazardous level that even a simple small milliamp of circuitry would not ignite any explosion risk. So you need to go through the explosion certification, hazardous explosion certification process, which was also quite new to us, and we were in the privilege to work together with our customers to learn that kind of experience to make it possible. So having all this being mentioned, and also to bring the product design for manufacturing. So there's a lot of workshop or smaller product designers that comes up with products that is well designed, but not for manufacturing, which also ends up with higher costs. So this all summarize up the values as BROWAN, having BROWAN as a part of the ecosystem in bringing our values to our partners, service providers alike, network operators alike, or even different sensors makers alike. We provide that kind of cost consciousness to our products. We provide that kind of customization, resources, and experience to the collaboration. And we also bring in the very important experience for different wireless technology integration to make our product to go into the market with very competitive cost structures, with very strong integration of different RF concerns, and then, of course, in a very swift duration into a mass production into the market. So this summarizes my sharing as a product partners in the LoRa industry and the values that we bring to everyone here to share with you the views that we have. And I hope during my presentation, some of the limitation and the problems that I brought up brings the agreement and rings a bell on your side that you might be able to look for us for the solution. Many of my friends ask, what does BROWAN means? And actually, BROWAN was BROWAN. But I thought, why not we be your bro in the LPWAN's needs? Thank you very much. This is my presentation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Henry. I was already making a little joke about the Italian aesthetics of your design, and you also mentioned yourself, like some customers want to have a Ferrari. How important is design when designing hardware?
Well, design at large is, not only the look and feel of the product, but also on the circuitry design itself. It all comes together when you look at it in one piece of product. The design actually affects the legal requirements fully met, and then is it proof for a certain ruggedized environment? Is it waterproof? Yep. Is it weatherproof and this kind of concern? So it really comes down to the point where it stands for more than 80% of the validity of the product itself.
Yeah. Yes. Very clear. Okay. Are there any questions? And if not, we can find you at the booth as well.
Yes, please. Please come by our booth. You won't get any free samples, but we'll be happy to talk to you with more details. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Henry. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.